I am afraid to even conduct this vlog, but I'm gonna do it. I've got nothing to hide. I'm mentally ill. I'm a mother. I'm a responsible mother. I take my meds. I'm a family person, and I've, I've got nothing to hide. So, one of my hobbies that I'm not proud of is going and watching conspiracy videos on YouTube. My latest major interest has been what's called transvestigation, which I probably talked to you about. It's looking at photos of movie stars, women, and just famous women, usually movie stars, and pointing out how they are really men, and using like scientific illustrations of skeletal frames, skeletons, features such as a more sloping forehead, a lack of widow's peak, brow ridge, more pronounced, bigger jaw, thicker neck, often longer arms in women, bigger hands, slightly bowed legs, which generally women don't have, and the hips, the hip to waist ratio. So you see a Giselle Bundchen on the beach, and her torso is completely straight, and that is not normal. And this can occur at any weight. So this fascinates me, and different YouTubers have different interpretations as to the why this is happening. I mean, and they'll be like, "This is a guy," and I'm convinced, but why? And sometimes these guys are nutty. I mean, I find their picture slides and their slides of anatomy to be convincing. I mean, there's sometimes I'm like, I don't know, but there's a lot where it's like, holy shit. Okay, so, but the YouTubers will have like these wacky ideas that I can't get into, like, it's Luciferians, aka Satanists, who worship Baphomet, and that's the goat god. And their ideal, and everything is inverted, like anything Christian, they're the opposite in every way. And their ultimate like being is man and woman combined. Okay, I don't know why. I don't really buy it. I mean, I people probably do believe that. I believe that, but just as much as I don't believe anything in Christianity, I don't believe anything in Luciferianism. So when they get talking like that, I kind of click off. And that Hollywood is infiltrated completely by people of that nature, and so the idea is to create these people basically transgendered, but fooling everyone, like secretly transgendered, and oftentimes from a young age. And then they or I'm sure I've talked about this, or it's like when they're older and they like just basically sign a contract with the devil, like, I will do this for fame, or they come from a Satanist family, multi-generational, who just do this, or they're bought off and do this to their young children, and then when the children grow up, they have some kind of breakdown like Britney did. Okay, so that's that. Whatever. But I like I like it. Ever since I discovered this world of conspiracy, and it's always been more about, for me, um, tortured movie stars, the whole MK Ultra thing, and conspiracies of that nature. I don't go for like the government. I'm not a 9/11 September 11th truther. I'm into like famous people, be the freakishness of fame. Okay, I've talked about this. You know this. I don't even know why I got into this to begin with. The thing is that I was avoiding it for quite a long time. Some of the lack of interest, for like interest faded, medication, whatever. Just feeling like it's not good for my brain. I think about it too much. I watch too many videos. But now I'm back. And for weeks now, I have been watching a lot of these videos. Like, a lot, whenever I can. And I hate, like, when it's me time, if like Paul and Poppy come back like unexpectedly soon, or early, or we're all hanging out in the house together, nothing much is going on. I'm secretive about watching them. And I really like it when I'm home alone. I can just like indulge. This one guy, Mr. E, has a very pleasing voice. I almost have a crush on him based on his voice. There is a black guy. I can't remember. I think he calls himself Jeremiah. He's like Caribbean, and he's so funny. Like, it's like really unprofessional, and he'll be like, "Look, that's a dude. Look, look at the." I can't even the accent, but it's really sloppy. Like, Mr. E is very professional. Jeremiah is very sloppy, but he's hilarious, and I like them both. And Mr. E's funny too. But then I saw Mr. E. She's basically a transvestigator, but it's like that's like many, many, many videos. But then, like, then at the bottom, it's like stuff about flat Earth, and I found out that there is like a whole branch of conspiracy people that believe that we're on a flat Earth, that NASA is bogus, that any picture of the Earth from space is fake, the moon landing is fake. That conspiracy has been around since the moon landings, but this is just like off the chain, and I'm not into that at all. Okay, I believe in science. Okay, I'm not an irrational freak. I'm just imaginative, and I like these things fuel my imagination. Once again, I've gone off track. This is fucking why I'm doing this vlog. So for weeks now, I've been looking at exclusively conspiracy videos on YouTube, like several times a day, every day for weeks. That's it. And then it'll always be like, you like, or like I watched one on Princess Diana's death being, like she was murdered. And then the next thing will be like, recommended for you, Princess Diana's bulimia and struggle with her husband. And I'll watch a couple of those and I'll stop, and then it'll be recommended for you. Selma Blair is really a man. I watched that today. It just keeps going and going and going based on what I've been watching. That's how YouTube works, or so it would seem. So this morning, actually early afternoon, Paul is like, we're gonna make pancakes, him and Poppy. And so, as always, when he makes pancakes, he's like, I need pancake music while I make pancakes. And it's always like something super mellow, like ambient. Yeah, like ambient, but like delicate. And so that's his thing. It's always his thing. he has to have pancake music. So it's been kind of like over the years, like the same couple of bands. And so today, this morning, this afternoon, I was like, what about Grouper? Like that album with a lot of piano. I can't remember the name of that one. I don't know. It might be the man who died in his boat. I knew that wasn't quite right, but I mentioned it. And he's like, yeah, maybe. He goes off into the kitchen. I go back to my videos and I'm scrolling for an interesting looking one, all conspiracy. And then all of a sudden it says recommended for you, Grouper, the man who died in his boat. Surveillance society? What the fuck? At first, Paul was like, coincidence. It's like, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Uh, and um, and then I don't know. He was kind of trying to Paul science his way out of it, and I was like, "How do they do it?" And then he was like, "Actually, I did hear that, like if you use Siri and don't turn it off, like it tracks what you're saying, and I don't know, satellites, the microphone." And he was really skeptical. I was like, the Homeland Security, like 5 years ago or 3 years ago, like it was like, oh, we're gonna, like they got permission, like signed off by Obama, that they could basically spy on any American at any time. And Paul's like, they can't do it on all Americans. That's impossible. And I was like, it's probably random. And I was like, it's not just black activists or Islamic people or activists at all. It's anyone. And I remember being on Data Lounge at the time where people were like, we have to fight this. Like, this is outrageous. They're stripping our rights. And then other people were like, I've got nothing to hide. At the time, I found it really depressing, but I had a little kid and I'm just a weary person. And I didn't, what are you going to do to fight it? Like, sign one of those petitions that you get in the mail? Like, call your senator? I mean, that's maybe worth it that I didn't do. But it went through, and it's real, and I, the phone is listening to me, and I'm thinking about all these vlogs that I do, like highly personal information, and Yahoo is really Google now, and I've heard sinister things about Google as far as surveillance and the Apple phone. And he's like, the FBI doesn't have time. They don't have the resources. And I was like, well, then they outsource to Apple or they outsource to Google. Like, doesn't that make sense? And he was like, yeah. And he never agrees with me about paranoid things. I want to know what you think. I actually had like heart palpitations at first. Now I'm just pissed off. And oh, and Paul was like, they probably have voice recognition. Now he was all on it, and just look for keywords. Like, I don't even want to say the keywords, but things you can imagine about treasonous things, I guess. I don't know. What do you think? It's insane. It happened 10 minutes after we were talking about it, and it fit in with nothing that was recommended for me. And Paul started to say, oh, it's a coincidence. I don't think it was a coincidence. But we wound up talking about it, and where he was like coming around about it. But 14:36, gotta go. All right.